Hey, it's Tony talking Car Biz. I'm here with Tom Gallagher, the videopreneur. Today, we're talking about some of the reasons for merchandising, quality merchandising, be it photos, custom comments, and video, and why we believe it's super important that dealerships, car salespeople, and the like begin to really focus on quality vehicle merchandising, including the three items I just talked about: videos, photos, and custom comments. So Tom, earlier on the phone, we were talking about what you were up to today, where you're at, where you were doing some video. Tell us about that.
Well, thank you, Tony, and thanks for having me on. And I read an article, and I can send you the link. That way you can include it in with your video. But there was an article in Trade Only Today, and it was referring to the boat industry. And there was one of the C-suite gentlemen from Marine Max was stating that just last week their online traffic had doubled. And also their foot traffic was down, but their online traffic was doubled, and it was relating it all to this virus that is gripping our country. And so today I was out shooting some video, just because video is such a safe and secure way to communicate or connect with a customer. You can shoot video and send it to a customer. They can watch it in the safety and security of their own home. They don't have to worry about going out in public. And while if I said that a couple of weeks ago, you'd probably think I was smoking a higher grade than you. But now people are starting to realize that yesterday I shot some video at the local Walmart. This entire aisle is empty. No toilet paper, no paper towels. All their Clorox is gone. Their hand sanitizer is gone. And, you're hearing these stories all across the country. And, at first people were thinking they're overreacting, but now the more we hear about this virus, the more we're starting to realize that it may not be overreacting. It may be legitimate. And so if people are concerned about that, they're going to stop their foot. They're going to stop going out in public. But as a dealer, you still have boats to sell. You still have RVs to sell, motorsports, cars, trucks, whatever it is. You still have that inventory and more inventory on the way. So we have to figure out ways to sell that. And in my opinion, video is the best way to communicate that in a safe and secure way.
Well, it's interesting you say that. I too was at the grocery store the other night, and I just stopped to pick up some fruits, vegetables, some bagels for breakfast. And I got in there and I didn't realize until I got to the meat department where the shelves were like empty. And this is a huge grocery store. It's one of the biggest in our city. And then I'm like, well, let's go look at the paper aisle, because I heard everybody's buying toilet paper. Gone. I mean, this place has 3 aisles of paper products gone. I thought they were going out of business. And there weren't really that many people in the aisles. But then I decided to check out, and holy cats, I had like an hour and a half wait, and all I had was, my total bill was like $39. But there was people with huge carts full of stuff, and I was like, man, people are going nuts over this. But the truth is they're stocking up because they're thinking, okay, we shouldn't be out in public, so they're filling their houses up with all these supplies so they can hunker down and stay home.
Yes.
And, myself, I'm a middle-aged person, so that's, apparently this disease is affecting middle-aged and older people. So I'm in kind of one of those classes of people that could be affected by it. But then I also have a compromised immune system because of my kidney transplant and the medicines that I take. So really, I need to, think about that from a perspective of my own health. And, yesterday I didn't leave the house at all. Not because of the virus, but because I was thinking, well, why take unnecessary trips if I don't have to? And so to circle that back to what you're talking about is, we need to sell cars, we need to sell boats, but the consumer is not going to take an unnecessary trip.
Bingo.
They're not going to just get in their car and drive around from car lot to car lot looking for the right car. They're just not going to do that. They're going to hedge their bets and do all of their shopping online. And if they have to make that trip, they're going to go and get what they need because they know it's there. They're going to buy it and leave. They're not going to go to 2 or 3 different dealerships for sure because of the concern for the virus. So I agree with you. Videos, quality merchandising, holy cats.
I was just talking to a dealer the other day, and he was telling me that he was having a conversation with some of the management staff or team, and they were talking about some older aged inventory and how it hadn't been merchandised. And these guys were telling this friend of mine, they were telling him that, oh, you know, this people are going to come over to the dealership. They're looking for this vehicle. And his point was, they're not looking for this. It hasn't been merchandised. And especially now, to your point, if people are staying home more and more, and I'll send you the link to that article. It's a good article, a short read, but people are staying home. They're not taking unnecessary trips, and they're being cautious. They're thinking about what they're doing. So if you don't have the vehicles, whether it's an RV, boat, you know, car, truck, whatever it is, if you don't have it properly merchandised, they're not gonna find it. And video, in my opinion, and I've got a dog in the hunt, so you know, I've got a video app. It's a great way to communicate with a customer, sending them a full motion video that the customer can take mental ownership. You and I talk about this all the time. The customer can take mental ownership before they arrive at the dealership. And who knows how bad this thing is going to get, but I wouldn't doubt if people are going to have paperwork Ubered over to the customer's house so they can sign the paperwork and send it back in an Uber so they don't even have to go to the dealership.
Well, you know, that's a good point. If you think about your lot, your inventory, physical inventory on the lot, you know, dealers believe that they got to get the cars on the lot as fast as they can. So the person driving through the lot, shopping for the white Toyota Sienna will see it and then buy it. That's not the first place they're looking for it on your lot. The first place they're looking for it is online. And I'm just going to, I don't know if you can see my screen or
Yes.
not, Tom. So I'm
Yes.
just going to go to autotrader.com, for example. And think about it. We know that consumers start their shopping process online, right?
Yes.
They don't start it by, you know, driving down the local boulevard, car dealer row, and looking for the car dealer that has the most balloons. And, you know, honey, look at them. They've got a lot of balloons. Let's go buy a car.
Yeah.
Right. I really don't think customers are buying cars because you've got the most balloons on dealer row. I believe that they're buying cars because there's a want and a need, and they begin searching for those cars online. And I'm just going to do a real quick search on autotrader.com. So this is my local market, and you can see as I'm scrolling down this list of Toyota Camrys, just about every car has a photo. Now, if I'm a consumer and I'm looking, I'm going to narrow this down a little bit to the example I just gave you, and I'm going to go to Toyota Siennas. And there's 44 Siennas in my area available for sale. And I go to the results. Now, think of this as the customers driving through the car dealership looking for cars, and they're going through the list of cars, driving down the row, and they see all these cars, beautiful lined up ones. The ones without the photos, see if I can find one without a photo, and you can see most dealers are doing a great job of getting
There's one there.
photos done here. Now, this is a national ad, it looks like, Toyota national ad. But if your cars, and I'll go to the next page, is the 1 or 2 cars that, or 1 or 2 Siennas that don't have photos, why would a customer bother to look at, to zoom in on it? That's almost like them driving through the lot and they see a line of Siennas and then there's a spot where there's no Sienna. Are they going to get out of their car and go and look at that empty spot? go into the showroom and say, where's the car that was parked here? I want to see that one. No, they're not even going to acknowledge that that car even exists. And it's the same way online. When they're driving down the internet and they're looking at Siennas, and there's a Sienna, not like this one, but for example, if this one didn't have a photo, are they even going to spend a moment to call that dealership or click in on that car to find out why there's no pictures?
Not at all.
Not at all. They're not going to call you and say, hey, I saw this car online, but it doesn't have any pictures. Can you tell me more about it? Or I'd like to buy that car. So I think you're spot on. You've got to be able to reel them in with that quality merchandising. Now, I know you've been working with RV dealers. What does their online presence look like today?
So what's interesting is, from what I've been told, is the RV world is 5 years behind when it comes to technology, about 5 years behind the auto industry. Mm-hmm. However, more and more, we see more and more RV dealers getting into full motion video. So it's changing, and the RV dealer, the ones that have full motion video, and we have a product called Video Lead Responder. You're aware of that. You guys use it very, very well. But the dealers that we have using the Video Lead Responder are crushing it, because when it comes to an RV, you may live in, say, Oklahoma, but you could be buying an RV in Mississippi. And the RV space is completely different. The more I learn about it, the more I find fascinating. But, they're shooting video, photos with our app. They're sending the video to the customer as a lead response, and they're communicating that video, and customers are willing to fly or drive. They're looking for a specific RV, and they fly or drive to that market to make that purchase. And so it's really engaging. It's fascinating to watch. And the RV salespeople, man, the salespeople that are in the RV space are very knowledgeable and very open to trying new things. And they see video for what it truly is. It's the future, and they're embracing it. And it's really fun to work with the RV stores.
How is that different than the car dealers you're working with? What's the difference?
Car dealership, I see management more engaging for video than the salespeople. Salespeople are a bit reluctant, or maybe I shouldn't say reluctant, a little bit less enthusiastic when it comes to video, but management and ownership are very enthusiastic because they see video for what it is. It's the future. But salespeople, a lot of times, they're comfortable with getting the amount of leads that they get, or the amount of sales that they get in the course of a month, and they're kind of steady Eddie. They're comfortable with, if they sell 15 cars a month, 10 cars a month, whatever that number is, they're pretty comfortable doing that. They don't really want to take a chance of doing something different. But we're working with one dealer group where the owner, every customer touch involves a video, and that dealer group is really, really doing well, because just like your example on the Sienna, if there aren't photos online, people are just passing it up. Customers are getting to the point now with video that if it doesn't have a video, they're looking for a vehicle or a dealership that has video.
Right. And so how are the salespeople, or sounds like mostly sales managers in the automotive vertical, how are they using video beyond having it on the dealer website?
The biggest thing they're doing is using it as a lead response. Every customer touch has a video. I would say you've got a guy at your store, Gary, that he's got a different intro. So if he's selling a Sienna, he's got a Sienna intro. Camry, he's got a Camry intro. Forerunner, he's got a Forerunner intro. And in talking to him, he's told me, and I'm sure you're aware of it, he's told me that if he has an intro, he has a better chance of selling that vehicle than just sending the customer a video with a vehicle they're interested in. So every video that he sends out, he sends an intro with it. We've got a dealer in the Carolinas, and he sold, I don't remember if he's in North Carolina or South Carolina, but he sold a customer a vehicle. So let's just say he's in North Carolina. He had a customer that from South Carolina that drove up to buy the vehicle from him. And the customer even said, I drove past probably 4 or 5 other Nissan stores just to get here because you're the only one that took the time to send me a video and personalized it. So the percentages of salespeople that are engaging with video, while it's low, it's growing, and the ones that are doing it are really engaging, and their numbers are increasing. You know, we're seeing 30, 40, 50% increase in sales with video, and the sales guys that are doing it are saying, I didn't want to do it. I didn't really like doing it. I don't like the way I look on video. I don't like the way I sound on video.
Right.
But they started doing it. They embraced it, and now they're over that. They've gotten over the fact that maybe I look a little bit different. I don't like the way I look, or I don't like the way I sound. They've gotten beyond that, and now they're crushing it with video.
You know, that's one of the things that that we found is the salespeople who are willing to use video are the ones that are building or establishing a relationship with the customer before the customer comes into the dealership. And, you know, for years we said that people buy cars from people they like and people that they trust and people that they quote unquote know. And I really see, you know, somebody like Gary, for example, he's putting himself out there to the customer so that when the customer comes into the dealership, they already feel like they know him. And, you know, one time I remember Gary saying that the great thing about video and doing an introduction, it's almost like skate protection. You know, he told me a story about how one time a customer came in and couldn't remember his name, but said to this other salesperson that greeted him, that's the guy over there.
Yeah.
Because he recognized who he was, but couldn't remember his name. And that's not unusual in the car business, that a customer could have spent a day with me on the showroom a week ago and maybe forgot my name, or I didn't do a great job of following up and getting my name in their head. But then they walk in and they say, oh, that's the guy over there I talked to last week. But Gary's been using it to connect with internet customers, email leads, live chats, phone ups, and the people have never met him. And when they come in, they go, oh, that's the guy over there. Gary said, I don't even know the people. I didn't recognize them, but they recognized me because I had sent them a video.
Yes.
And I thought that was a really interesting comment that he said, you know, video for me is one of the benefits is it's like skate protection. So pretty interesting. Can you still see my screen?
I can. I see a gray Sienna.
Yeah. So
yeah.
I switched over from cars.com from AutoTrader. So this is the car listed on AutoTrader.
You mean cars.com?
Nope, this one's
okay. Okay.
With the orange here.
Yes.
So here it is on autotrader.com. And then the same vehicle listed, and I'm just going to move this over on cars.com. So I'm on the VDP on both AutoTrader and Cars. And one of the things I want to point out here is on AutoTrader on the VDP, you notice this van has 35 photos. It was taken in the studio at our dealership. And I can go through those. And then way at the end, I'm going to go to the very end. AutoTrader puts the video.
Yes.
So as a consumer, I need to go through 35 thumbnails to discover that there's actually a video on the vehicle. But yet video is the hottest thing going, not only in automotive, but think about, Tom, think about all the people that are self-quarantining, essentially. They're hunkering down in their cave, right? And so There was a story on the news, I think it was last night or yesterday, and it was talking about all the schools that are closed and all the businesses that are closed and all of the people that are working from home. What's that going to do with the bandwidth or connectivity of the internet across the United States? There's going to be a huge amount of traffic. The traffic that we normally would see on a Saturday is going to be 24/7 now.
Yes.
And what are all those people going to be doing when they're at home? They're going to be watching video. They're going to be watching television video, YouTube video, vehicle videos, Facebook videos. They're all going to be watching videos. So getting back to the Auto Trader clearly, in my opinion, they're not making video a highlight of any vehicle. It's there, but you have to dig in 35 photos later. But look what cars.com is doing. They've put video as its own play button right at the front of the photo slide. So they're almost to where I would like them to be, because the consumer doesn't have to go through all this. They can just click here and watch the video. But one of the things that I'd love to see these big websites do is something that I've done with one of my websites. And I'll go there, usecarsmadison.com. So this is a website that I built. Oh, this is not mine. Bear with me. This is somebody else who tried to knock off my website.
Imagine that.
Yeah, that one's Used Cars in Madison. Mine is Used Cars Madison. So I came first. But one of the things that I did on this website for the dealer was I made the video front and center on the SRP and over on the VDP. So you can see here I am on the SRP. If I go back to Auto Trader and I go back to their SRP, and I go back to cars.com, go back to their SRP. So whether I'm on Auto Trader or cars.com, video has no presence on their SRP.
Yes.
And as we saw for Auto Trader, they have a video on the VDP, but you have to go 35 photos deep to find the video. On cars.com, no video presence on the SRP. I can go through the photos. If I want to see a video or even discover a video, I still have to go to the VDP, and I can discover it here. But what I've done on Used Cars Madison, which I have encouraged both Auto Trader and cars.com to do, is I've highlighted the video on the SRP. So there, yes, there's a thumbnail, but now the consumer clearly sees front and center that there's a video for that vehicle right there.
Yes.
And I think that's one good way that some of these big websites, these Auto Traders, these cars.coms, could really help dealerships leverage video and really put an emphasis on video in their vehicle listings. And if you go to one of the biggest websites, you might want to write this down because this is a really, really great website. There it is in the URL. You might have heard of it. They're an up-and-comer apparently in retail.
Huh.
Yep.
Amazon, like the river?
Yeah, kind of like the river, but apparently they're realizing maybe that video might be an important part of it. So what they've done is they've actually included video in the slideshow alongside the product, similar to the way that I've done on Used Cars Madison.
Yes.
So I didn't come up with this idea of putting video front and center on a product. I basically stole it from Amazon. Oh, did I say that out loud?
Yeah, and Zappos is the same way.
Right.
I mean, you
Right.
buy a $35 pair of shoes and you can watch a video about it.
Right. With a model walking around showing the shoe off.
Yeah.
And, you know, the other thing that's interesting about Zappos is if a pair of shoes has 5 different colors, they do full photos on every color.
Yeah.
It's the exact same shoe, 5 different colors. Here's a pair of shoes on Amazon that I bought. And this pair of shoes has, what, 10 different colors? And they took pictures of every single color.
I've had a pair of those shoes before, and they're amazing how light they are and how they are wonderful shoes.
Yeah, these are great shoes. I love them. And look at the price on them. I mean, what are they? $40, $70, $80. They're great shoes. So, merchandising is critical. Do you think photos are enough though for a dealer just to do photos?
No, I don't think it's enough. Photos done the right way make a big difference. So, I still see, it's amazing how many dealers I see with photos that just look like crap. The cars facing a different way. For instance, the way you have your cars lined up here,
Mm-hmm.
facing into the page. There's so many studies that are, have been done, and I know you know this. You have to have the vehicle facing the end of into the page, like you see here.
Mm-hmm.
And then you'll scroll down and you'll see a dealer where the cars are facing the opposite way, or they're just mix and match, and it's like, are you kidding me?
Right.
I was down in Destin, Florida. There you go, that vehicle right there.
Right.
I was down in Destin, Florida a couple of weeks ago visiting my in-laws, and I like calling on dealers when I'm down there. I'll call on some dealers, and it's amazing. They didn't have video, and then some of these stores had photos, and one car would have 15 photos, another car would have 35 photos. There was no rhyme or reason to it, and it amazes me how scatterbrained some dealers are. They just throw it up there. But in my opinion, you guys do an excellent job. You do photos and you do video, and you've been a customer of ours for 6 years, has it been, Tony?
Yeah. Yeah.
And you guys do a phenomenal job.
These are our listings here. On Auto Trader, our click-through rate, SRP to VDP, runs in the 3% range, which the average is somewhere around 1%. And one of the things that you'll see on our listings is we don't have overlays like this. We do them all clean, just like this. We believe, the car is the star. And if you don't have a right car, they don't care that you're the number one this, the number one that. None of this matters to the customer unless you have the right car. So, my Auto Trader rep comes into me, my Cars.com rep comes in, and they look at my stuff, and they're always talking about how great a job we do, but then they always say things like, well, you guys should put an overlay on here. And my response to that is, well, our cars are conspicuous by the absence of all that garbage.
Yes.
That we're really focused on the car, and once we connect with the customer, then we can wow them with who we are as a dealership. But I really don't think the customer's interested in our dealership. They didn't set out to buy a dealership. They set out to buy a car. And then once we're able to engage them on the vehicle, then we're able to, give them the service that they deserve and the respect that they deserve.
Yeah, and you mentioned comments earlier, and that's the other thing that you guys do that is so over the top. It's so important to differentiate yourself from another dealer, but it's also important to differentiate yourself from another vehicle. So this is a BMW. I'm not sure the model. I didn't get this to see it, but a customer. Okay, so it's an X2. Somebody is shopping another vehicle like that, and then if the comments are generated by an algorithm, you may miss something. But I know you guys really take the time to do your comments right, and it captures the specifics of that vehicle, and then it really separates that vehicle. And so now a customer, they may look at that vehicle and another one at another dealership, see that you're pricing it, your car could be $2,000 higher. They're thinking they're comparing apples and apples, and they're not. They're comparing apples and oranges. Your vehicle is better equipped. That's why it costs more, but they don't see that. But when they read the comments, you guys really do a great job on your comments and go to a lot of detail on your comments to really justify that price point that you have.
Well, sure. Every single one of our used cars has custom comments. Each car has its comments written by a human being, to try to tell the story of the car, to get the customer enthusiastic about the car. And I think that's critical. That's a part of our success. I think more and more dealers are starting to do this, because they're starting to see the importance of it. But really, what sells a car is the story or the history of the car. And if you're not telling that story, then it's just another car.
Yes.
So I think those three elements, photos, would you agree photos are a minimum expectation?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. Video, while it may seem like an option right now, like, people should be doing it, but they really don't have to. I think more and more it's going to be a requirement, not necessarily from the manufacturer, although that's probably coming, but from the customer, that realizes, hey, I don't have to go all the way across town to look at this car. There's a video right here. Now I know it's worth going across town. People won't drive a long distance to look at one car unless they believe that one car is the car.
Well, you guys do so many things right. I know that you also take the time, if you put tires on a vehicle, you draw that to the attention of the shopper. I know that you've gotten a photo booth, indoor photo booth. Now I think you get a second booth, and that way you can shoot all your new and used inventory in a booth. And those are the things that the average dealer isn't doing, but you guys are doing it, and you're crushing it. That's why you're getting the sales volume that you're getting, in my opinion.
Well, when it comes to our used vehicle inventory, we know that we have one or two shots to get the customer to engage with the vehicle. And why are we going to take a chance of losing their attention just because we haven't taken the time to build the value in the vehicle? Here's an example of a car where we did all of our reconditioning, and we're highlighting the fact that we put 2 new tires on it.
Yes.
And we show them that the value of those tires is about $400. We also go into detail about whether it's a Carfax one owner vehicle. We try to tell the story of the vehicle. We try to tell a little bit about the features on the vehicle and kind of mix it up. So we're talking about the history and the quality. We're talking about the equipment and what they get when they buy the vehicle. But then we're also talking about maybe how they could potentially use it and the things that they could, enjoy about the car. So it's not just saying it has fuzzy dice and it has a power driver's seat and, come on in and drive it. It's really trying to tell the whole story of the vehicle and then giving them a quality presentation so that they can justify jumping in their car and driving across the state to make a purchase decision. One of the word tracks that I use with customers all the time when I ran the BDC was, what information do you need, Tom, in order to drive to our dealership and make a purchase decision? And that's a straightforward question. And if they say, well, I'd like to see the condition of the tires, then I'm going to honor that request by going out and doing a video and working for the customer. And once I begin to work for the customer, then the customer begins to work with me. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. That goes back to what we were talking about with the RV space. If a dealer or if a customer lives in Georgia, but is willing to drive 4 hours for an RV, they want to know what that RV looks like. And it's the same thing with yours. If you're putting new tires on the vehicle and you draw that to the customer's attention, now they know why you're asking the price that you're asking. And you can justify the price you're asking because you've got so much detail. You've got custom comments. You're pointing out 2 new tires. You've got a video. You've got, how many photos do you guys shoot?
On average, about 30 per car.
Yeah. So video plus 30 photos.
Yep.
Custom comments pointing out it's got new tires.
Now, the other side of video, which is so gosh darn helpful, especially the AutosOnVideo app, is not only does it allow us to merchandise these cars with photos and videos very quickly. I mean, I think we spend like 10 minutes a car and we're done. No computer. But then all the videos that we've captured and photos that we captured through your app, we're able to repurpose those and use them as part of our follow-up process. And so we're kind of, getting double the benefit of doing videos. We're using it in our marketing and our merchandising and our online presentation, but then our sales team is able to use it right from their smartphone to send a video out to their customer as part of the follow-up. Wrapping those two things together brings a ton of value in video and photos. So it's an amazing product for that, for sure.
Yeah, it certainly is. And thank you for pointing that out, because the dealers that are doing that are really seeing the results. They're getting increased traffic to the dealership and increased sales.
Right. Well, I want to wrap it up, get back to my video game over here with my son. There's no real football, so we're playing football on television today. But it was good talking to you, Tom. Thanks for jumping on with me, and go ahead and shoot some video out there, okay?
Thank you so much, Tony. Thanks again, and you have a good day. Be safe.
All right. Thanks, man.
Thanks you.
Awesome. Well, that turned out okay.
Yeah, I think so.
I think. It's good.